said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic. Somebody hand me a mic. Cause I got to say something, so just hand me a mic. When I need to say something, better hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic.
Power of noise, it's good.
It's a real thing.
I think especially like young people don't. Like there's so many young people who go into the start of their career, they just say like yes to everything. And then you end up having to go to Morrison's and get like loads of bottles of water.
I knew that was
cans of
coming,
Coke
man.
and shit. Like people do all that shit all the time. Like once you learn to say no and then like it just gains you a bit of integrity and you can start like just focusing on
no zero integrity over here, mate. I am that guy who goes to Morrison's.
I didn't when I started the sentence I didn't intend to make that cheap shot, but it just presented itself so beautifully. I was like, yeah,
you had to put it in the net, didn't you?
Mate, if you didn't do it, I was going to do it because that was my route. That was my whole route to that. Like, I never say no to fuck all, mate.
Have I missed something here?
What?
Was there some kind of like shop incident that's going on here?
No, it's a weekly occurrence.
He doesn't go?
Back in the day, before Southpaw came to Dash, you used to get the whooshes, you used to get Deliveroos in, and they used to just bring the bottles of water. Some guy, some poor sod would run up the stairs with all the bottles of water, put them in the fridge and that.
Yeah.
And then Southpaw starts and he's like, I'll go to Morrison's. I'll do that for you. I'll save you that £4 that you spend on delivery. I'll do it.
I think it adds up to be a bit more than that, but go on.
And then because he's decided he's going to do something, I then get roped in. So now he pulls up outside and he's like, oh, Johnny, I need you to come down and get all these bottles of water. I'm like, mate, I'm fucking busy. What the hell?
No.
And now I have to go down and it's free. It's winter. It's fucking, we're in February now. It's still cold outside. It's pissing down. And I've got to stand there waiting for him to square his fucking car up into the thing. So I can go and lift some bottles of water upstairs, which you could just hire in the lift or get a fucking trolley for 30 quid on Amazon. But because he's decided he's a yes man, I've then got to fucking put some extra effort in. Bullshit.
So first
he plays
of all,
on my heartstrings because if I say no to him, he's then just like he's like a mopey little child who hasn't got his money. He's like, oh, I'm just trying to trying to save Dash a bit of money and then helping him. I'm just like, oh fucking hell, all right then. He paints us out to be a bad guy just because just
fucking hell, let it all out, mate.
You know what I mean?
Because he's a yes man. He drew you into being.
I wanted to get this off my chest, song. But
you've done it within the safety in front of Daniel. What I will say, mate.
We're not in Dash now, mate.
I can't mope around now and make you feel bad. What I'll say is you explained the whole scenario wrong. Like, I leave Morrison's and as I'm coming over that roundabout, right, there he is, Jonny, find Jonny on the phone. And then it's not like, oh, you have to come outside, mate. There he is. There's the main man in Dash. How you doing, Jonny? You all right? Like, what's
Welcome
going
to the
on?
sales team, mate.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's like, yeah, it's me, the main man. I'm like, get yourself downstairs, Jonny. Bring as many people as you can. Comes down, helps us. And I actually think, Jonny, it's good. It's beneficial for your arms, beneficial for your health. You're up and down the stairs. There's no loss really here.
Oh, mate, I'm a busy man.
I know
I've got a really important job.
But you've always got time for a friend, don't you?
Graphic design.
He tried that with me once.
Yeah.
Like, I remember looking down, the phone rang, and I just...
I've done all sorts. I was put it in airplane mode and everything. I'm like, he's at Morrison's. No.
No.
And then you'll ring somebody else and then they'll shout.
Yeah, I've noticed you bring poor Deborah down the stairs as well now.
Yeah.
How things change, you know? Feet under the table and stuff.
I know.
Well, it just comes back around to what I was saying though, like the power of no. Like I'd never even be in that scenario or bring my good friend Jonny into that scenario if I'd have learned or not like taking on that responsibility. And then like I got to a certain point in Dash where I probably could just say, oh no, I'm not fucking doing that no more. But that isn't me. I will never say no.
Oh, you're too young.
I'm a yes man.
You need to start in a bit of.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. At what age do you think you boys started saying like, nah, I'm not doing that? Like, because it's not something that I think is easily done to say no.
I admit, in my life, I've been known as a yes man. I have always been a yes man. But I don't know, I suppose, more recently, I guess. It's been quite a recent thing where, do you know, you just feel guilty though. Like, a lot of the time, you feel guilty. Yeah. But, well...
I'll know, because I learned a bit from you, to be fair, though, because when I started dashing, you were just like if somebody would ask you to do something that you wanted to do, your line was always like, I won't be doing that, mate. You just fucking clean out, and I was like, oh, there's so much power in that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know.
And then like I was going home talking to me, she was like, "Oh, you mind doing them dishes?" I'm like, "I won't be doing that, mate." And then I got slapped fucking silly. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not down."
Yeah, no, you've got to say it. You've got to mean it, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've got to mean it, I guess. But you know, in being that guy, in the being I won't be doing that guy, like you do sort of put yourself up for being like resented.
Oh yeah, you've got to pick your battles. That's the thing.
I'll be honest. Like my advice to anybody: don't be the I'm not doing that guy.
Yeah,
just say yes. Just say yes.
Depends what it is. Man.
Yeah.
No, but it does look nice on like your side of the world, like your side of the crop. Like I would like to be there, but it's just there's not one part of me that could like say it.
I think you have to accept. Sorry to interrupt. I think you have to accept. You have to be okay. If you're going to take that card, right? You've got to be okay with everybody hating you. You've got to be okay with it. You've got to think, let's just imagine a world where everybody in this room hates me. And if you can live with that, then that is your card to play. But if you can't, if you think, oh no, I can't be hated, then I guess you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because that may happen. You know?
I watched a good TED talk about someone was describing it in like having a fuck budget. So like,
what's a fuck budget?
Like you can only give so many fucks to so many things.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if you spread your fucks out too thin, like you run out of fucks.
Right.
And then like, you know, if somebody might ask you something, it's like, oh, I've got no more fucks to give to that. like I don't want to be in a fuck deficit. So you will get none of my fucks.
No way.
I learned this. I thought that was a Reese thing. Reese taught me that about the fucks. I've definitely taken it away, like that we only get so many fucks.
You only get so many fucks, mate. Yeah.
And you get to a point where like you're having to borrow fucks. And you don't want to be borrowing fucks.
Borrow fucks, mate.
No, mate. No. So that's it. Check your fuck wallet, and if you've got some spare fucks, give them.
Allocate some fucks, yeah.
Yeah, because if not, you're going to overfuck yourself, and then you're going to end up not putting enough fucks into the worlds that you need to put fucks into.
This is true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess in the example, you can't borrow fucks. If you get to 0, he's right. You can't say, oh, I need to borrow some fucks from somewhere else. You've got to take some fucks off something else.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're doing something and you don't give a fuck about it, you're not doing it properly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's not a good position to be in either.
It's
so,
not like
you've got to
manage fucks wisely.
Manage fucks.
Yeah,
wisely.
like prime example yesterday, fucks were given at work, fucks were given at the gym. Met a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, gave him some fucks. Another fucks, that didn't sound right. And then more fucks were given to another friend who I drove home, who's not in the best place. And then I got home, and then I had no fucks left for my family.
0 fucks?
Yeah.
0 fucks.
So it's one of them. You need to find and balance your fucks. I agree.
Have a fuck budget.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. I guess it's probably something that we never like wrap our head around, because I bet each one of us now could sit, and I bet most people listening to this now could sit and say there'll be things in their life they're not giving enough fucks to. I dare say that is most people.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet the person who says, no, everything is kosher. Like, I'm 100% sound, my fuck allocation is divvied up perfectly. No, don't need to take no fucks from no one. I don't believe that person exists.
Nah, neither do I.
And if you do, fuck you. Because that's disgustingly good, you know?
Yeah. I think that person probably doesn't have enough going on, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
That person's probably bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. So we're rolling, Southpaw?
We are rolling, yeah.
Well, that's a good start, isn't it?
I like that.
That's a good start.
Taught somebody something already, hopefully, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're here. Again, that is also a good start. You know, for all you lovely people watching, this, you know, world-class podcast that you're listening to, this doesn't come easy. You know, we've got people with full-time jobs. We've put ourselves out to make this entertainment for you. But that's because we appreciate that you watch in itself, Paul.
Absolutely.
We appreciate. You have to subscribe
comment,
and stuff
subscribe,
too, right?
all that good stuff.
Yeah,
it
man.
really helps play into what we're doing, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, life's been pretty busy at the moment. I'm sure it's the same for everybody.
Yep.
So,
all round.
When I was driving this, I normally think about what's gone on in the past week to come in and bring it and share it with everybody, right? Not actually, like, pretty nothing's happened in my life, pretty much. Yeah, so these stories that, you know, we haven't got Christian ladies touching my willy, we haven't got, you know,
thank God,
sign languages, we haven't got any of that this week. It's been pretty straightforward. But I did take a little visit to somewhere that I'd like to share with you.
Ooh,
on
do
the
tell.
viewers. So I was informed by a colleague that there is a place called Miller and Carter. Have you heard of it
Oh,
before?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard of Miller and Carter, but to me it seemed way out of my league, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sausage, chips and gravy from the chippy guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought, listen, they don't want my type in there. Do you know?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, and I've also, I'm not saying I'm a tight man by any stretch of the imagination, but I was always a bit fearful of like, what's going to happen here? It takes me back to this time years ago. I was in Menorca. I pointed out a lobster on a menu and basically found out I was going to be spending about 700 quid on this meal.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? I walked out, I walked out of the restaurant because I wasn't paying it. Very embarrassing. Everybody heard. So I've always had a bit of a twitch about it. Mm-hmm. And for me, this was out of my league.
Let's just give ain't that bad though, is it?
As I found out.
Yeah.
Let's just give a bit of context to the viewers as well. Dan is an old faithful of the steak. You love tomahawk steak in Darlington. You also love the Estabulos. You've tried it all. There's not a steak place in Darlington you haven't tried.
I mean, there isn't any now, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Miller and Carter, go.
Which one did you go to?
That one.
What, Glasgow?
No, Miller and Carter, Nunthorpe.
Nunthorpe.
Ah.
So, a bit of trepidation. Mm-hmm. What to expect. I probably could have looked at the menu first and checked prices, but I didn't. I knew, I was rich. I had 300 quid. I thought, okay, I'm ready to play.
I go divvy with 300 quid, mate.
Obviously, you get in there and the first thing you do is you do look at the prices. Like, there isn't much conversation for the first 5 minutes as you're scanning.
Yeah.
And
it's another one of them ones where it has a big menu. Like, then you've got like all the different, like there's a way of ordering that's just confusing.
Yeah.
Kind of unique.
But I don't mind telling you, number one, if you're listening, Miller and Carter, Nunthorpe, it's absolutely A star.
Yeah.
It's absolutely impeccable for
it's bang on.
I've never been like.
Best steak I've ever had, hands down.
No way.
Easy
that's
work.
a big call.
That
Easy
is a
work.
big call,
It
that,
literally was like what I've heard people say. Miller and Carter, the best steak ever, and I've always thought, yeah. Listen, I've been excited when I had my first steak too. But I'll give him it. It's that good, and come to the bill. I remember the typical bill at the place in Darlow, Tomahawk.
Tomahawk, yeah.
Would you be surprised to know that was cheaper?
No, mate, your order of Tomahawk was
It was fucking raj, mate.
Oh,
Yeah.
class.
Let's just say, it was mint gourmet, but
Listen, I mean, here I was playing Jimmy Arsehole,
Yeah.
Bring me the lobster, bring me the prawns,
yeah.
No way.
I want the sharing board just for me. I was full on arsehole, and feeling like Mr. Big Bollocks.
Did you do it all in the whole sharing ball to yourself?
Yeah.
No, fucking way.
Yeah. Plus starters.
You get the beef dripping sauce.
That's how mine came, like that. That's a sharing board, and I ate that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now that looks doable, to be fair.
It's doable.
But like with starters now, I'm fucked off.
Yeah, no, it's just enough. It's just enough. And the bill, $130 for two people.
No
Decent.
way.
Not wrong with that, is there?
That is bang on.
Starters, drinks, mains,
What
$130.
what each or?
No, all in.
That's really good.
I've been to Tomahawk before with two people and got starters and mains and drinks, and like it was a bit more than that, 150s, 160s, this sort of thing. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't be scared of Miller and Carter. You don't need to be a millionaire to go eat there. This is an accessible place,
Yeah, man.
and it's on our doorstep for all you northeast.
They have that beef dripping sauce. It's like that rich gravy thing. It comes in like the little pot.
That's it.
Oh man, that changes the steak game. That is unbelievable stuff.
Real good.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
It's that stuff there, isn't it, John? Mar?
Yeah, no, it comes in like a metal tin. It might be that.
Who knows?
Go back to that other image that you had up on the left there. In the middle. Holy shit.
Oh, that's the stuff
Yeah,
there.
that stuff right there. That's the shit.
I'll tell you what did freak me out. The starter was called bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's meant to be really beneficial. Talk us through the benefits of that, Daniel.
I don't know. I just know people are into bone marrow broth and shit like this. I know it's trendy now. I'm sure it's really good for you.
It
but
is.
I don't know.
That's what it was, a broth.
No. What they brought was a bone that basically, what I can only imagine they've done is with some machine, they had got the leg bone of a cow and sliced it in half, right? Cooked it, and the bone must have opened in the heat. So what they brought to the table was basically look like a dog bone, a great big dog bone, and you were looking at it thinking, well, where's the bone marrow? And like you got your fork and you like run it through the bone, and this like brown jello-y stuff comes off it, and
That's what I thought, like a jelly, yeah.
yeah, it's freaky. That's it. It's freaky, but bang tidy.
Was it?
Really
Nice.
tasty? Yeah. If you can get past the squeamishness of it, like I am literally licking the liquid from inside of a cow's leg. If you can get past that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what though? Like,
I have to give that a go. That's interesting.
I think you get to a point, which is where I am now, where I think after, I don't smoke anymore, but after years of abusing my body, smoking for probably 20 years and being a weed head and everything that I've done, I've got to a point where I no longer taste things. All I'm left with is textures.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I can't tell you if something tastes nice or bad. I can just tell you what the texture was.
That's a really good recommendation for Miller and Carter. You just give
listen.
The textures were bang on.
Listen. Most of pleasure for a man is visual, as we know. We're visual creatures, right? We feel not much, but we see a lot. And the visual of Miller and Carter was fantastic. Yeah. Posh people, clinking of glasses, service was immaculate. Bones, meats, like prawns this big. What are you talking about?
I always get weirded out in there because whenever I've been, there's always been like I would always get dressed up because it feels like a nice place. But then I'll go and there'll be like people in like tracky bottoms and like people who look like they just came back from the gym, and I was like, whoa, this must mean nothing to you. Like,
exactly the same. When I knew I was going, I flung not a ratty tracksuit, not a Jimmy Savile, a proper tracksuit, a nice one, like a trendy one. Do you know what I mean? I was going to put it on, and then that came to my head. I was like, oh no, probably it might be a dress code. So I ended up like getting dressed up like a knobhead.
Yeah.
Well, Miller and Carter.
Miller and Carter. That's
somebody with the second name of Miller or Carter. They're nice people. They're good people.
Yeah.
Come from old money then, people.
Benefits of bone marrow, joint health.
God, you love to bring it back to a health thing.
Skin health, and potentially reduces inflammation.
Inflammation?
Inflammation.
Well, we don't need inflammation, do we?
No.
You need to...
But I have that's
heard,
good for you, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Like, what's that big guy called that only eats meat? What's he called? The big guy.
Liver King.
Liver King, yeah. He's big bone marrow guy, isn't he?
He probably is, looking at him. He's probably eating the bone,
Well, he was on all the rides, wasn't
he? Well, that's what they say. I don't know too much about him. I know there was some controversy, wasn't there, about him?
There was.
I don't know this guy.
Big wins, Miller and Carter. I'm all for it. I might even give it a go one time.
You should.
You should, man.
You in Sheffield, I can see it now.
Take Sheffield there for a little date night.
Lovely jubbly. Stop. Hold up. Before we carry on, just a quick word from our sponsor. Do you have a business? Thinking about starting one? Dash, the bespoke web design and branding experts. When you have a business that needs a professional online presence, when your current website is starting to look a little outdated and tired, when you have an idea and want to see it brought to life online, that's where Dash can help. Dash create bespoke websites built around your business and its requirements, from exceptional e-commerce stores to sell your products online, to beautiful brochures showcasing who you are and what you do. The team at Dash will become an extension of your business. You'll be assigned a dedicated team who will help guide and advise from the initial design brief all the way to the website launch. Not only that, Dash provide full aftercare to carry out any changes, alterations or updates quickly and efficiently. It's like having your very own personal web development team 365 days a year. Dash understands that in today's world, the right online image, exposure and representation is the key to success. Book in a free, no obligation consultation with one of their experts today to see how Dash can make your online vision an online reality. Just visit www.dashmedia.co.uk or search Dash Media on Google to find out more. Dash, the bespoke website and branding experts. I've got a confession. I don't know who Sam Fender is.
No way.
I've heard his name, but
I've heard him on in the office all the time, though.
Yeah,
maybe, but I couldn't. You could play me 10 songs and I couldn't tell you which one Sam Fender.
No, but if we played one of the songs, you'd know some of the words.
Would I?
Yeah, you would.
Everyone buzzes off him and be like, "Oh, he's proper sound guy. He's proper down to earth." Is that his crack? Is it? He's just like a normal guy.
Yeah, Geordie lad from North Shields.
Yeah,
just one of the people.
Proper
big on
down to earth. My dad's best mate went to go and film with him, and his son's in a band and brought his son along, and like they were just playing all day. And Sam's just like, he's a millionaire now, obviously. Like I've just paid £72 to go and see him in this summer, and he's like unbelievable. Like
how big is he? Is he like doing concerts and stuff, like arenas?
Selling out arenas, mate.
Selling out. I think he's done all right over in the States as well.
Yeah.
But he's obviously like. People love to celebrate like a hometown legend, like because he's so like rooted in Newcastle. He'll come and he did it last June, or was it the year before? he went and played St James's Park, like Newcastle United Stadium, which they never do gigs in. Like I think it. I was telling my brother he does this sort of thing, but like apparently like the load in and load out for like studio staging equipment and stuff for St James's Park, fucking nightmare. So they very rarely do it, but they did it for him, and it was amazing, like the best night ever.
With that stadium being smack bang in the city centre, I imagine the access to it's not great.
Well, yeah, I think it's for the loading equipment and shit like that. I reckon it is a proper carry on, but for like, you know, the Newcastle United fans are so fucking devoted and shit like that and so passionate about it. To have everybody together in the stadium there, like celebrating a local hero, like, it was fucking class. It was unbelievable. They've
probably only made like an exception for him because he's a Newcastle lad.
Yeah,
you imagine so.
Yeah,
from what I've heard, he's just such like a normal guy. Like he's one of them. He's proper charismatic. Like he'd come in here and just like be so genuine. Like when my uncle sort of just met him, he was just had time for him. Like just spoke to him like a normal human. Like he doesn't come across like this big famous celebrity like he is. He's still just Sam Fender, still just normal Sam. And like them people go far. Like if you're a nice person in that industry and you maintain that sort of, I don't know, just normality and authenticity.
You stay down to earth. I think you can, you know, it does well for you.
It does go a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, like one of my favourite singers is Paolo Nutini. And if you follow, if you're on the socials sometimes, you'll just see him like someone will just make like some kind of mini reel on Instagram or whatever, and they'll just walk in and he's just sat there having a pint and like just with everybody. Like he's got no clue, not clue. I suppose he knows that he is, but he's not interested. He's going to the local and like he's been known just to whip his guitar out and just do a mini gig for people. Do you know, like just for like 7 people in the pub. Like I love that.
Class, yeah.
Like. But
it's rare in that industry, isn't it? Like you get to a certain point, like Paolo, like Sam, and it's like, nah, I'm not whipping my car out, my guitar out unless
Kanye West ain't gonna rock up to a pub and just start blasting out stronger.
No, unless you got like a couple of grand. Oh, there you go. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't happen. Yeah. So them people, I do think it pays off to be like that in the music industry.
I think the only way that can work is like if you're just not fake in any way, shape or form. Like if you're putting on any type of character or you're like, I don't know, slightly masking who you really are for fame sort of thing, pretending, that becomes more difficult. Yeah. But if you are just 100% who you are, you've got nothing to hide. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm guessing like the Paolos and the Sam Fenders. I'm sure there's others, obviously. Yeah. You know, shout out to them too. But I imagine they're probably the most genuine.
Aye,
I would have thought so. So I had a bit of a situation, a small one. I say it hasn't really got like some mental ending, but I just want to bring you into the embarrassment that I was in. Oh, so petrol stations, right? For some reason, when I'm in a petrol station, my internet on my phone doesn't work. Right? Well, let me repeat that.
You're not supposed to use your phone in petrol stations, Daniel.
I actually think that that they're using something to stop you doing it. But whenever I'm in, I use the Shell on Woodlands Road. Right, I always use that one. I'm a man of routine. Had gone in, it was a normal day, and I'm a car filler-upperer, you know. I let it run down at the bottom, I fill it all the way at the top.
Yep.
So you have to go less. It was a normal day, I'd put my petrol in. I had things on my mind and wasn't paying attention. I'd got in to, boop, you know, number 4, please, 92, that's the one. Do you want a more card? No, thanks. Nope. You know. I booped it, walked away. Thank you. I'm a booper and walk. I don't even wait to see the word accepted. You know, I think it's cool. I'll just walk away. Boop, thank you. And, you know, the thousands of times that's happened, that's fine. And normally as I get to the door and open the door, they're obviously waiting for the accepted. Yeah. Normally as I open the door here, thank you. And, you know, they probably think you arrogant bastard, you didn't stay and wait, but it's kind of my thing, right? I don't mean arrogant by it, it's just my thing. This time I said, excuse me. Said, yeah. So it didn't go through. I was like, right. No. I walk back, thingy it again. Boop. This time I stand. Declined. Right. Another one. Other card. As I'm thinking the other card, I'm like, oh, there's no money. And it's all just dawned on me what I've done. It's dawned on me that I haven't moved money from the right place to where it needs to be. And I'm like, ah. And there's somebody wanting to...
Oh, you've got no service, so you can't...
Right, yeah. So then I say, 2 seconds. And I say, you go first, mate. I have to move some... And I'm like, Barry, I've got bright red. Do you know, like, I hate these situations. I'm mortified. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to get on, and it's on the online banking, and it's spinning. And I'm like, and I'm getting more and more aggravated. And like, it's all coming to light. I'm like, you don't get reception in here. Anyway, this now is getting awkward. There's a queue. People, it's got to... Are you first, mate? No, mate. I'm. And I'm thinking, I'm a rat bastard here. We just don't have any money to pay for his petrol.
Queue of cars waiting to get into the fuel pump that you're at.
Would you believe it? Like, when I pulled up, I was the only car in the petrol station. Yeah. Now it's heaving, right? Of course it's heaving. Do you know what I mean? Of course it is. It wouldn't be any different way, would it?
I got to tell you, this is like one of my worst nightmares.
Yeah, mate. I'm walking out the door. I get to the door. There's somebody I know very well there. All right, mate. How you doing now, mate? She says, "Excuse me, you haven't paid for your petrol," and because I'm trying to now go outside to get reception.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going, and like, there's now 3 people, and they've all heard her say, "You're not paying for your petrol." They've all turned round. I'm stood at the door, bright red, looking guilty, right? Including somebody I know. My world's coming to an end, right? This is getting horrible. I said, "I'm just going to get reception." And she's like, looking at me like untrusting.
Thinking you're going to be a daffer.
Yeah. I've then gone out the forecourt and I'm trying to stand out of the way of the petrol station, trying to get reception. It goes on for a minute. She then goes on the antennae. "Excuse me, you need to pay for your petrol, number 4. Now everybody on the forecourt's looking at me. I'm having an absolute meltdown about this.
She's being a dick there.
Yeah,
like,
I'm having an absolute meltdown.
That's her being a dick there.
Then I remember the saving grace that my wallet is actually in the car. Nice. So
she'd have been suspicious as hell when you went and opened the car door.
I felt suspicious when I was reaching in the car. I felt like I had to do it quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I made a point of getting my wallet and like walking with it like this. You know, like to say, I'm getting my wallet.
I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah. It ended in me going to the back of the queue, standing all the way down and paying for it on my card.
Yeah, man. That is a horrible
Yeah.
It's not nice. Like, that place as well, I don't think it's all petrol stations have bad Wi-Fi. That particular Shell garage you're on about, that whole area around Darlington, when you're stepping into it, I always lose connection around there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why there is no Wi-Fi in the centre of Darlington. They just shouldn't. That shouldn't be the case. But
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You going down?
I always find it when I go to London, my phone signal's shit.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah. Strange. Yeah.
I'm not there that
thing.
often.
Like maybe there's too many people or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you find that, don't you? Like New Year's Eve and stuff, your phone stops working. Mm-hmm. Do you know? Have you ever like tried to text somebody at like midnight on New Year?
Yeah.
As a million people. Or
everyone's trying to send a text at the same time. And
New Year's Eve
brief
is game over.
segue. New Year's Eve. Funny story from our family. So when I was in a rocker top, I was baby, just being born in the November. The December hits and it's 2000, so it's the start of the 2000s. So I don't know whether you.
Did you just scrape it at 99?
99, yeah, November I was born.
Way.
Yeah,
so, I remember the millennium.
So going into 2000s, my dad works for the BBC, as we know, and lots of camera crews and lots of people like my dad were meant to be situated across the UK on call, because apparently when you were stepping into the 2000s, there was going to be this big crash, like all internet.
It was called the Millennium Bug, wasn't it?
All internet was going to fucking die, like everything was going to go under. My dad was on call and they said, "Listen, Johnny, we'll pay you whatever your wage is, we'll double that, and then also we'll put you and the missus up for this location, wherever you were situating you." I think it was York. Anyway, my mum hadn't drank throughout the whole pregnancy, obviously. I mean, look at me, I'm a pedigree. But then stepping into it, they're like, "Okay, right, nothing's going to happen, so I'll have a few drinks, and Dad, if I have to pull my camera out, I'll pull my camera out." So Dad had all his gear, they're in this pub. I'm in a rocker top, and they've had a couple of drinks, and then the millennium hits, everyone celebrates, nothing happens, Dad's being paid all this money, they went to this fancy place, and they're making their way up to the hotel room, probably about to get some freaky shit going on, everything's went through, everything's fine, Dad hasn't even had to work a job, but he's being paid for it, mint.
Winning.
So
nice.
What a New Year's that was for them. So they get to the hotel room, open the door, and they're like, "Mum's obviously had first drink in the whole 10 months or something," and fucking open the doors and "Oh, what a great night." And they're like, "Fucking hell, where's Louis?" They just fucking left me in this little fucking rocker top.
As if they told you.
It's joked about now. Social services don't get all this one.
I know, yeah.
But I'm 25 now, so you can't do fuck all.
Yeah,
but Yeah, mum had had a little drink, so she's like not in parent mode at all. Obviously, I'd only been around a month, so it was normal for them to just leave a bar. I was underneath the table in a rocker top, so my fucking mum and dad go sprinting down from the hotel to the bar, and like, fucking, where's Louis? Where's Louis? Find me underneath this table. Dad fucking quickly grabs me, baby Louis, and just runs back upstairs with us. And he's like, fucking hell, we got away with that one, didn't we?
But that is a full-blown Southpaw moment. Like, you are your mum and dad's son.
That's
a boo-boo, that one.
Serious boo-boo. Like,
Oh, man.
like, I might not even be theirs. Like,
That's off it.
Yeah.
Mate, you might have been abducted by some Belarusian gang, mate.
Who
now,
knows,
you know,
mate? Who knows?
working in the-
Fortunately, it was a nice bar, and I was just like cradled underneath this little rocker top. Obviously, an angel of a child, probably.
Probably, yeah, like a glow coming
No,
off.
no crying from me, mate. Apparently, I was an angel. But
of course,
yeah,
yeah.
fortunately, you know, they picked us up and took us up to the hotel room. But yeah, mum,
As if they told you.
yeah,
yeah.
you know, like it wasn't mentioned for years and years, and it came up like 2 years ago of like the day after a New Year's. Dad told this story, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
You can imagine how it could happen, though. Like, if you've just lived your entire life without carrying this little person around.
Yeah, man.
You could
Like,
imagine it, couldn't you?
Uh-huh.
You could imagine it.
Like, yeah, it just happened, and like it wasn't, you know, obviously they didn't fucking mean to, but they're not used to having a
I
baby.
don't know, you know, Dan. Like, you got to think when you have a fucking baby, you could imagine the overwhelming sense of responsibility of, like, you know, she's carried it for 9 months. It's changed their entire life.
Yeah.
You know, to go to that bar, they've probably had to pack like nappies and fucking think about the logistics of like, all right, he needs a feed at this time, so we'll have to go and do this and that and whatever.
Yeah.
And then they've just fucking left you, mate.
I mean,
like, that's off it.
I will also say, like, I feel like I'm overlooking it, and listen, hear what I'm saying. As I've said before, I respect Southpaw Senior sincerely.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Legend.
He is I've never met the man, but he sounds like a legend. Like,
He's a
like
good man.
the best of the best
He's a
of the
good
best.
man.
That's what he sounds like.
My guy. Yeah.
But I will say, I've not heard too many month-old babies in a boozer at midnight. Like, I'm just saying.
That is
like,
also a good point, yeah.
that's the bit that I feel like's been overlooked because of the tragedy.
I think if you've got a month-year-old baby, you ain't celebrating New Year's Eve. Like,
No.
you know, like,
I
that's
guess-
a quiet one in, get the baby to bed at a good time and just watch Grey's Anatomy until the clock rolls out,
right?
you know?
Right? Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things going on there. Like, there's lots of things that are, like, puzzling me. Like, number one, respect for the commitment to the sesh. I respect that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to let no baby get in the way of the sesh. Do you know what I mean?
No,
So,
obviously
like,
not.
No,
you
no,
know,
no.
well done, like sesh
Respect
monsters.
for, yep.
Love that. But I would dare say there weren't too many month-old babies in that pub that night. I would dare say he was probably the only one.
I probably was, but you got to remember, because of this big crash that was meant to happen,
Right.
Dad had to be situated in a nice pub in the centre of York.
Had to be.
Where it was because it didn't have to be a nice pub, but it had to be somewhere central York, so Dad could go outside with his camera, see all the lights were off, see everything was kicking off. Like, that was the shot that he had to capture, and it had to be different
He
regions
wanted to
across
bring his
the UK.
baby around to watch everything kicking
And
off.
yeah, like that was what all these cameramen were situated across the UK for. And, you know, it turned out it didn't happen. So then there's probably that euphoric buzz from my dad and mum. Oh my God, we got away with it. Brilliant. Like, mint money, mint hotel, like everything's paid for. Brilliant. So that's why I think they were like on such a high that nothing happened to then leave Louis.
In his manger.
Yeah, literally in my little rocket tot, just underneath a table.
Well, that's that could have went pear-shaped, couldn't it?
Yeah, like my mum says like it's an amazing thing that the bar
You're here.
staff while I'm here, and the bar staff didn't like go, is that a baby underneath that table? Like, you know what I mean? I swear they've just paid their bill, fucked it off. Like,
I was going to say, like, you know, I was going to make like a snide joke and say, what, so they couldn't have just stayed in the hotel room? But if you think, right, I'm going to give Southpaw Senior like the benefit of the doubt here. His job, had it have happened, was to capture something as fast as he could. And being in that bar, he could have been recording within 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And he could have captured it. In a hotel room, at best, there's minutes. And he might miss something. So I get it. I mean, I could make another case and say stay upstairs until 5 to 12, then walk down, leave the missus and the baby upstairs, walk down with your camera, stand on the front,
Yeah.
wait for it to happen. He could have done that. But as I say, commitment to the sesh. So, ladies and gentlemen, Southpaw Senior.
What a guy.
Well, my dad was obviously in the full believement that nothing was going to happen. He was like, nah, there's no way the whole internet and the whole world just going to crash at 12. There's no way.
there was genuine concern. I was 15 that year, and I remember it. And people like a lot of people thought it was going to happen.
What did they think? Was it like some kind of like anonymous group were going to like tear it all down, or was it just that like
it was a bug? It was something to do with the when things like the internet and shit had been put together. It something about the time getting to 000 or something, like something resetting in time that they weren't sure that they'd made a setting for it to continue or something.
Okay.
So that's it there.
Yeah. It was to do with how computers are programmed. And
all right, so not like a malicious thing. It was just like a programming error that was going to occur as a result of it hitting that time
So
code.
it was the year 2000 bug, also known as the Millennium Bug, was a potential computer issue that could have occurred at the turn of the millennium.
Many computer programs use only the last 2 digits of the year, so the year 2000 could be mistaken for 1900. I mean, I still can't see how the changing of date would affect his stuff. Like, does the internet know that it's 1900 and has to go, oh, we're not around, off? I don't think it would know that. Again, I'm not bright enough to understand it, but there was genuine concern. But again, Southpaw Senior rising above it all.
Yeah.
This is absolute tosh. It's absolute nonsense. I'll take the money.
Let's go to a nice bar.
Let's go to a nice bar. You know,
literally pop the champagne out. There you go. Listen, we got a fucking child. I'm smashing it. Like everything's going smooth. Get the fucking Dom Perignon over. Like,
I wouldn't be like surprised if Southpaw Senior had that much swag that he said, "Listen, I'm not even taking my camera because this shit is nonsense."
No, he did have his camera. Apparently.
He did.
Yeah.
And his baby.
And you got to think though, if you get that footage, that could be worth a lot. Like,
yeah,
hell of a lot.
Well, that's the whole reason that they paid these cameramen silly coin to just go out for the night. Like, I won't say the figure, but it was silly. I'll tell you after.
I wonder what the effects would have been. Like, I don't know how much what part the internet was playing in the world then, because I don't think there was smartphones and shit.
No.
I wonder how much effect it would have been. Like, how damaging? Like what? So the internet didn't work. Like they'd have fixed it within a few weeks, right?
You would think so, but also like I suppose it might have been like your aeroplanes and shit like that would have been all.
Oh yeah,
that all would have been set away by internet by that point. I would have thought.
Hey, imagine if you got a flight that night. Like let's say you were flying.
Oh yeah.
You had the London and New York flight. It boarded at 10 a.m. on the 31st of December 1999. Imagine, and you're up in the sky thinking, 5 minutes,
might just drop,
and all of a sudden just lights go off.
Mayday.
Yeah. But no, there was genuine concern. Like people genuinely thought that it was going to reset.
Fuck. It would be a hell of a bigger deal now, though. Like if the internet just stopped now, it would fuck the world, wouldn't it?
Fam, like if the internet stopped now, like everything's connected.
Yeah.
Like, I
mean,
mean,
this would be a complete waste of fucking time.
It would be a waste of filming. Yeah, it wouldn't be going out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank God, Southpaw and Mrs. C. Imagine they forgot, like just like cracked on and just like, you know, savaged each other like they were planning to do.
Oh yeah,
and you know, woke up the next morning. Morning, babes.
All right.
You know,
fuck.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been good. Like
no. Oh well, all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
I don't know where that segue came from. I don't know what the segue into that was, but there you go.
Where were we before then? What were we talking about?
You were paying at a petrol station.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no, that was to do with losing signal. I guess it might have been the segue. So the whole world was meant to lose.
It was a hell of a segue, and I'm glad it happened.
Good.
Yeah,
there we go.
Sure.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
Good.
Yeah.
You had a story to tell, and you fitted in somewhere. I love it, man.
It was a good story.
Yeah, it was. I like the story time.
And I want your boys' opinion on the final thing. As you can see, not very exciting things happened to me. So the most exciting thing that's happened this week is that story, the petrol station. And I've also since I've moved to this new house, I've now moved from a flat in the town centre to this street. It's certainly not a posh street. It's a family street. It's full of families, you know, husband, wife, kids, and it's full of elderly people. You know, they're 3-bedroom semi-detached houses. So you get that crowd of people. Mm-hmm. It's quiet. It's a nice street. I've noticed something has been going on. Now, this has been going on for pretty much since I moved in, right? And at first I thought I was going mad. And you know when you get, the recycling bin? Have I told you this story before about the recycling people?
I don't
and about the people,
think so.
The person across the road. Right, so, okay. So you put your recycling bin out, right? And about 6 months ago, I came home from the gym one day and I had beat the recycling people, right? So my bin was still there full. And something just caught the corner of my eye, right? And as I was walking in, I looked at my recycling bin and I saw something that said, like, Huggies. Like a box that said Huggies, like a nappy thing.
Nappies, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, I didn't open it, but then it computed in my head and I was like, I definitely didn't put that in that bin. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Anyway, over the course of, you know, it wasn't happening all the time, but sometimes I'd come back and I'd start to pay attention. And sometimes I would see stuff in my recycling bin that I didn't put in my recycling bin. Right?
Ructions.
Yeah.
Ructions.
And obviously, after like a few times of seeing it, I'm now convinced that somebody is doing this.
Is this just while it's out at the curb ready to be collected, or are they going at you like your back garden or whatever?
To be honest, mate, I haven't got that far. I'm assuming it's just on the front. You've just literally thrown me a swerve ball I never even thought of.
Yeah.
It can't be. I've got a locked gate. It can't be.
Okay.
Unless they're jumping over the gate, locking it and whatever. But anyway, so I thought to myself, am I that bothered? Like, not really. Like,
It's getting collected anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, no big
so
deal.
no big deal. And I left it at that. But the other day, right, last recycling day, funnily enough, I could have told this story last week, but we had a guest on, so I didn't, because that's when it actually happened. And I seen the person do it. And he saw me. And it was he lives diagonally across, right? I was leaving the house. I didn't think anything of it at first. I walked out my front door, and as I walked out the front door, I seen a man who I know to live diagonally from me, right? And we exchanged the niceties, you know. All right, that's it. Just niceties, that's all we're getting. We're not friends, you know what I mean? But we know where...
That's where I am with my neighbours.
Yeah, all right,
I get it.
That's it. And I've looked at him walking across the road. I haven't put two and two together yet. As far as I'm concerned, it's a man walking across the road with a cardboard in his hand. It's got nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Mind your business. I turn around, I lock my shit front door that's broken. I turn back round, and as I turn back round to walk to my car, he's at my bin. And he just doesn't look at me, right? He does not look. He calmly opens it up. He has a bit of a scramble with the cardboard, squashes it down. I've stopped in my tracks, like stuck still. I don't believe what I'm seeing. I'm expecting him to acknowledge me.
You would think if he's seen you, he'd like ask you, be like, you don't mind if I put this in there, do you? Like, that's what a normal person would do, right?
Right. Squashed it down, shut the lid, turned back round, whipped his phone out of his pocket, checked his thing, looked left and right, carried on walking to his house. I've stood on my doorstep and watched it, and like, I've laughed. You know, like, I've just thought, like, I didn't like laugh loud. I didn't want to be a dick. Cause I'm definitely in the, like, I'm the new guy in the street still. I don't want to be, like, the hated guy. I've already got a car that sounds like a fucking tank when it starts up. So, like, you know, I'm not liked anyway. Anyway, I jumped in my car and carried on. Since then, we've, you know, all right. Like, right, the question is, boys, right? The question is, and this is to the audience, this is to everybody, like, am I overreacting for
being bothered by it?
What I feel I should feel is I feel I shouldn't even be mentioning this. It doesn't matter. There was room in my bin. He put it in my bin. What's the problem? I wouldn't dare do that. 2, I feel a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. I am irritated. Should I be irritated? What's your thoughts, boys?
Oh, you know what? I think it feels intrusive. It feels like, you know, that's yours, and he's using it without even asking you, but also brazenly doing it like in front of you and not even like acknowledging like, oh, this is your bin, but I'm using it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's weird. That is weird. But
are we giving him a pass?
Yeah, it's getting taken anyway. So I'd be like, if I was in a bind, right, and my recycling was getting full, and like my neighbour's bin was already out, like if it's next door, maybe if there's room, I'd be like, just sneak a couple of things in there. Don't worry.
Would you do it?
I'd probably, if they were there at their car, I'd probably ask them.
Have you? Okay. Let me rewind it, because you're saying that. Like, I'm assuming you saying this. You've never done it.
No, I have.
You have.
I have, but
sneakily.
Sneakily, yeah.
Right.
But like not a lot. Just like, holy shit, I can't get my lid down. They can, and they've got room, and the bins are out.
Right.
If the wind blows and my lid's slightly ajar,
Okay.
All my recycling is going whoosh right down the street.
Okay.
So just so we can get the lid shut and we're going to keep the street tidy. Yeah.
So you're all right with it?
Yeah.
So you don't think I should feel a certain type of way about it?
Maybe, but I was sly as fuck. Like, if the neighbour happened to be stood there getting into the car, I'd probably be like, hey, you don't mind if I do this? Like, in my socially awkward kind of way, be like, oh, look, I can't get me, you see, it's fucked, I can't get the lid down. Can I don't know, you know? Then, yeah, like, I would ask them. The fact that he didn't ask is a weird bit, like...
Yeah.
I wouldn't knock on your door and be like, you mind if I put stuff in your bin? Like,
that's too much.
Yeah, that is too much.
That's too much.
So it's too much to knock on and ask for me. This is where I'm situated. But I think the fact that he's seen you and you've both acknowledged what he's doing, I think he should be like, oh, you've got a nice bin. Any chance I can use it? You know what I mean? Like if he played it off in some way and you went, yeah, nice bin, sound mate, go ahead. Like that sound, like that would be acceptable for me. He's acknowledged that he's being cheeky and like that's okay. But to see you and just put it in there without any, just assuming that it's okay, it's a bit too intrusive.
The thing I bump into is the proximity though, because he's not just like next door, is he? He's like across the road to the left. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly that.
He's trekked far and wide to get to your bin.
Yeah,
it does feel wrong as well. I literally did it about 2 weeks ago. So I was putting Zoe's bins out in Sheffield, and like they're all students. So like one, you feel probably okay doing it. Like, and there was room in the students' bins next door, which were already on the front.
I think students is fair game though.
Yeah.
Like,
so like Zoe's bin was rammed to the top. Of course, 7 girls. Like so much fucking rubbish.
Yeah.
And like I just took a little bit of the cardboard out there and put it in next doors. But even in that particular scenario, yes, as students, yes, it's probably more acceptable. No one was there. It was the morning, like I'd been on a run, beat the bin man. I felt a little bit wrong just taking that stuff out and just placing it in their bin. I don't know why. There is something wrong with that. So then to see you and acknowledge you and be like, fuck you, I'm using your bin, I think that's a bit weird.
Yeah, like let's think of like the absolute like fuckery of it. Like there's zero fucks in this because if that was like a one-off occurrence, remember the story before this. This has been happening.
Yeah,
this has been happening. I don't know how many times it's happened. I can definitely remember a few times of seeing it, but this could have been always been happening. I don't know. Like sometimes the bin is shut. I'm not picking it up and like looking. This could be happening every single week. Like, and do you know what? Okay, like I'm not even all the other times, right? Listen. Okay, I actually think it's better me not knowing and me not seeing. I think if you're gonna do it, I think you should be sneaky. Yeah. What I would expect him to be doing is, if he's got that problem, he needs to watch my house, right, and wait till all lights are off, and he needs to come over then quietly put it in and get away with it. I think that has more. I know that makes it dishonest. I know that, but I actually think that that's got more etiquette than what he did. Man, he was wearing sliders, mate. Like, he didn't even get dressed. He had sliders on. Do you know how much you have to, like, not give him a hug, mate? Do you know how much you have to not give him a hug?
Yeah, but, like...
To walk over, blatantly, mate, with cardboard in your hand, like, packets of Cola, like, boxes of Coca-Cola, and to eye contact me, and not even... You didn't have to ask. Just go, I'll just stick this in here, mate. You know what you'd have got? No worries, pal. That's what you'd have got.
Yeah, so what you've got there is you've got a guy who doesn't think that there's anything morally objectionable in it. He doesn't, not at all. Because if he thought it was wrong, then he would be doing the sneaking out at night thing. But if you're doing the sneaking out at night thing to go and put something in somebody else's bin, fucking hell, you've got an easy life, haven't you?
Yeah.
Let me...
Nobody could put that much thought into something like that.
Let me reverse it. So let's just say in some weird paradox, you find yourself in that position, Daniel.
I do sometimes.
For some weird reason, you're in that zone where you've already crossed the street, you've got the cardboard in your hand, you're in sliders, and that same scenario happened to you. What would you say to that person who was coming out their door and you were openly putting in cardboard? What would you say?
So before we get to that question, there's a lot more of imagining to do first. Because number one, I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Number two, I wouldn't do it in sliders. Number three, I wouldn't do it in the daytime. Right? So let's just imagine we broke through all them 3 walls.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So I'm now not Dan anymore. Right? Right? So now...
Yeah, I don't want you to be Dan.
Right. So now I'm going to be called Ian.
Ian.
Right?
Hi,
all right, Ian.
Ian.
Go on.
And I'm there, and I've got caught in the act. I'm 100% asking or telling. That being me, because this I now have to pretend to be Dan again, because the question is not what would Ian do, what would Dan do? So I've been Ian, but now I'm Dan, right? the social awkward would come in and the embarrassment would come in. So, because I'm done now.
This is what I'm here for.
Be mortified with what I'm doing, ashamed, feel like I'm scum. That's what I would feel like. And I would overly compensate. I'd tell him the story. I'd offer to pay. I would. I would melt down.
What are you paying for, though?
I'd probably.
Are you paying for bin space?
I just, want this to go away. Like, how much to make this okay? I'd probably tell him a lie.
What do I need to do to not be a dick in this situation?
I would extremely do it. I know you shouldn't be bothered because I know it doesn't matter. I also feel like that I'm being targeted. Mm-hmm. So, okay.
Well, yeah, because he's walked a long way. Like, he's probably walked past other recycling bins to get to yours.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a neighbour.
But maybe he's spotted, like, single man lives on his own, probably doesn't have that much in his bin.
There are definitely 4, maybe 5. I haven't measured it. There are definitely 4 recycling bins closer to him than me.
Yeah.
The 2 people next door and the one directly opposite him, who is my next door neighbour.
Yeah.
Potentially their neighbour, because the driveways touch, might be closer as well. But he beelines for mine. Right? I happen to know that next door but one is a pensioner. How much recycling is a pensioner using?
No, fuck all, mate.
Fuck all, mate. I bet their bin's hollow, mate. Hollow. I bet it is. Yeah, and I feel like I'm also being targeted. Like, what, do you think I'm a bitch? Like, I often think, because the person before me, here's the thing, the person that had the house before me was a single old age man.
Yeah.
He lived alone. So I think he'd been doing this for time.
Yeah, but if he had a relationship with that man, though, and then he didn't realise he moved out or something like that, and was like he had an arrangement already.
What, so all of a sudden, fucking Mr. Robertson, 94-year-old's got a V8 Mercedes? What, all of a sudden?
Yeah,
no, mate, he knows who I am.
So here's my question. What are you going to do next time this happens then?
Absolutely nothing.
I'd be playing a bit of fun with him. Like, you couldn't get a fucking skip, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd be playing jokes with him. You know what I mean?
But what about
them? Like,
and then he'd be like,
aggressive, slightly
and then he'd be like, no.
jokes,
I'm only fucking joking, mate. Of course you can put it in there, because then it establishes that's fine. Don't worry about it. If there's space, use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you could just say, tell you what, mate, next time just leave it in my front garden, mate. Just leave it there, mate. I'll sort it. Don't you worry about that, pal.
Yeah.
Just you fling it there. I'll sort that out for you. Yeah. But the thing is the element of like, I'm trying so hard not to fall out with my neighbours.
You want to be a nice, nobody wants to be a bad neighbour.
Well, how would you fall out with your neighbours, mate? It's not like
same way every time, mate. I'm loud and I play music loud. No. So like, sometimes I can play. I don't do it at this house. At the old flat, it was weird. It happened I lived in a block of flats, right? And I was a bit more of a knobhead back then. So this started 10 years ago. And I used to like to get ready with music on very loud in my flat. You know, that was my thing. I played music. And I used to piss my neighbours off and blah, blah, blah. But then there was a time, for a long period of time, I lived at a top floor flat and the 4 flats below me were empty. So I kind of had the whole building.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, and I just got used to that. And it got to, I probably do come across sometimes as like a little bit intimidating, probably. I can imagine that.
Not to that guy, apparently.
No, not to that guy. Yeah. But nobody like said anything, you know what I mean? And I'm sure I was annoying people. I'm sure I was playing my music loud. But since I've got to this house, I've weaned off it. I don't play music loud, but I can be quite noisy sometimes. Like when you're on a phone and like, not angry, but just when you're like laughing and joking with people, making stupid noises, doing stupid things, people are going to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really trying to be accepted in the street. You know what I mean? I'm really trying. I'm not planning on going anywhere, These are families,
Go and cut the neighbours next door grass, just the front lawn, mate.
I should now.
Goes a long way,
I should. Well, that bastard next door stole my greenhouse. That's how our relationship began.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm sure he's a nice man, but...
How's that work? How do you steal a greenhouse?
You've got a greenhouse in your garden and he uses it?
The cheek of it. Like, one day when I first moved in, after a few weeks, I was in the back garden with my dad, right? Now, I had a greenhouse, because it was an old pensioner's house. Sure. I did plan on getting rid of this greenhouse. What do I want with a greenhouse, right? And he must have overheard a conversation at some point. Otherwise, it's a coincidence, but it seems a bit... One day, I was in the garden with my dad about 4 weeks after we moved in, and whatever his name is, next door, he stood in the garden, like eavesdropping. I can hear. And he says, what you doing with that greenhouse? And I said, oh, no, mate, we haven't decided yet. He said, I'll have it. And I'm a yes guy, so I was like, oh yeah, no worries, mate, yeah. Thinking like at some point, do you know what I mean?
Move it into his
anyway,
garden.
I ignored it. Oh, cheers, mate. Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you want me to pay it? No, don't worry, mate. You can have it. I don't want it. We'll be getting rid of it. All right, no worries. I carried on talking to my dad, and then I heard a noise, and walking through my gate was him with the tool thing, and he in front of me and my dad started taking the greenhouse apart, and I looked at my dad and I'm like, and we went in the house and we're looking out the kitchen window, and there he was. He just took the greenhouse to bit and took it. Now, 24 hours later, look in his garden. There's my fucking greenhouse.
No
it's
way.
in his garden.
But you said you could have it.
Yeah, you did say like
you
Yeah,
said you
but
could.
I didn't mean them right now. Like I thought it was
The
just.
vulture descended.
But
Yeah.
he saved you a job, hasn't he?
I guess so, but I
I
didn't.
don't know what you wanted to happen there.
Well, I don't
You
know.
wanted
I
it to
just.
take 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah.
I just think that's a bit. It's a bit like I don't know. Like
It's a bit intense, yeah. Like
let a couple of days pass. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Re-mention it. Look, come knock on the door. So do you mind if I come on Saturday and move the greenhouse? You know, no worries, mate. I
It's
don't know.
almost like he went.
He just-
Yeah, I can have it. And
Literally.
he already had the drill.
The drill. There we go. Nice one.
Come to think of it, he was round pretty quick with them tools. So like, you almost think was a toolbox waiting.
He was by the back door.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have a greenhouse now.
Well,
He's
you
got it.
weren't going to make no potatoes in the greenhouse, were you?
No, and he uses it to be fair. But I don't know where we were going with that. Neighbours. Yeah, neighbours.
Neighbours.
I'm trying to be nice. Do you know what I mean?
It's tough to develop that relationship, but I do think in the long run it really pays off because neighbours can come in more handy than you'd ever believe.
So you think. But anyway, Mr. Binman, there we go.
Interesting one, that Daniel.
I think it solves. You solve it by not solving it, don't you? You just have to.
I've got to leave it.
Just have to leave it. As long as he doesn't put anything like. Imagine the situation where he puts something in your bin. The recycling men
This is
don't
what's
want to
crossed
take.
me. This is what's
and
crossed.
then, like there's a loose banana peel or something like that on the top, and they say, it's general waste. Can't take that. And then your recycling bin doesn't get taste because of that fuck.
Yeah, there's no management.
You should go and sabotage his bin.
Maybe.
Yeah, like you should go.
Maybe.
You should go and put something that absolutely can't be taken in the top.
But do it really sly. So he
Yeah,
doesn't
do
see
it sly, like 12:30 at night, the night of the bins before.
Huh.
And like sabotage, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, why isn't my bin being taken?"
All you're doing here is fueling the old Daniel. Because the old Daniel would have done this. I'd have took this on as a game. But like you say, if your motivation is peace and harmony, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peace and harmony. I want to be nice. You got to leave it. But it's still, I'm just saying. I don't know. I think it's a bit cheeky.
It's a weird situation.
It's a bit cheeky, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Your feelings are valid on it, but
Yeah, I mean, speaking of neighbours, like, funnily enough, like a few days ago, like maybe a few weeks ago, something else happened, and it just shows like the difference in environment. Like, I was reversing out on my and obviously, there's too many cars for streets, too many cars for the street. Once upon a time, it was like 1 car per house. Now there's like 4 cars per house. Yeah. So the street's just chaos.
Ours is ridiculous to get out of.
Chaos.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to reverse out this little skinny driveway, and there's a car here and a car here, and you can't see. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm trying to look, and I'm trying to like, when you can't see, your only tactic is to go incredibly slow, like centimetre, and you're looking, just waiting for someone to hit the back of your car. Anyway, I'm looking, and then as I look back this way, there's somebody stood next to my car, and I put the brakes on, and I thought I'm getting robbed, and like I've like wound the window down. I'm like, what are you doing? And he says, I'm waving you out, mate. And I'm like, oh yeah, like. That's what normal people Right, okay. And I'm like, right, okay, I'm not getting robbed. Like, there was like my laptop in the back. I thought I was about to get turned over. Yeah. It's a difference in environment, isn't it? Like,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Cheers, pal.
no way, people do this.
That's right. Oh, yeah, like, no way. It's like Desperate Housewives. Like,
I never like being waved though. I always feel like I'm going to run them over.
you don't trust them, do you?
No.
Like, my life's in your hands, here, pal. Yeah. But yeah, that happened.
I like somebody who takes time out their day to give back to somebody else. It's just nice. I think it's good to give back, and if you can give back in small increments like that, it's a good one to do.
Yeah. Do you know, through my entire life, I've never really had good neighbours. I admire that. Like in your street, it seems to be a community, innit?
There's a whole WhatsApp group. There's the High Stell WhatsApp group.
Oh, I like that.
WhatsApp group. Imagine.
Mum's the admin,
Is she?
Of course. It all stems from you guys.
Yeah,
Makes
it
sense,
actually
yeah.
does. And like we all got tight in COVID, and then it's just progressed ever since. And this year we did the Christmas turn on, and there's a winner for the best and we can never win, even though we always have the best house. We have to give it to somebody else, and everyone in the street votes. It gets tallied up, and they get like this big spoon, golden spoon.
Fucking hell, that's a proper intense community thing.
Yeah, it's like
I was expecting my share of tin of beans or something like that.
It's a bit culty, to be honest.
It sounds
and like there's somebody who's moved out the street, and like he's still invited along to come along for the show. Yeah, because he was like a big staple of the street.
The new neighbours come in and they realise what's going on. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to put an effort with it.
Wouldn't it be minging to move into his street? Yeah. Like that would be my worst nightmare. That all of a sudden I moved in a street. Let's be honest, they're not cheap. Like you probably really, really push the boat out to get one of these houses. You know what I mean? It's like it's a nice area.
Mad times we'll live in.
Yeah, you've worked your entire life and finally you can go live in this beautiful place. You've always wanted it. You've probably been to hell and back to get there. And you move in and you've got some little fucking jobs worth. Hiya, we just want to welcome you to the street. Like, oh, man.
Do you want to be part of the WhatsApp group?
I hope you go all out on the Christmas lights because everybody else does. So get yourself a Wilco and get some fucking lights. Oh, great! Yay!
Well, that's Karen. There she is.
Absolutely mortified. I'm devastated.
No, it's great, mate. It's just
for yous. Like,
it's brilliant.
Have you actually done like, do you know really what everybody else thinks, or do you? What if yous are just them annoying Walton families?
No, to be honest,
it makes us think like Hot Fuzz. Like imagine if you don't cut your grass regularly enough, and then someone on a walkie-talkie is like, "Number 5 still hasn't cut the grass this week."
It is a little bit Hot Fuzzy, but like there are people in our street that don't get involved, and that's fine. We don't badmouth them. But like,
do you not?
No,
you do though.
A little bit. A little bit. But no, like I think everybody who is a part of it, like you got to remember, there's older people on our street, and they love having a walk around with the kids and that. And it was wholesome. Like Mum brought this mulled wine out, and like because everyone was having mulled wine as we walked around. And it was Christmassy, man. It was nice.
House on the prairie, innit? Absolutely stunning.
It was a Sunday. Like mulled wine was going down a tree. Zoe was up for that weekend. Like it was nice.
Like I say, like I'm halfway there. Obviously, you don't want to live in an area, right, where your neighbours are horrible. Because can you imagine if you had
the opposite's far worse than that? But
of course. But like, I think I wouldn't. No, I'd be better with that than the bad neighbour. Like the neighbour who's flinging, he's got a settee and a telly in on his front garden. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
putting a washing machine out. You know what I mean?
That's a classic, isn't it?
Dirty bastard. They're in the garden, they're swearing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've been that neighbour. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been that guy, But I think I would not be as cross, but I'd also be, like, a bit disappointed if I'd really, really, really tried hard to move in a house and I realised that I was in one of these communities where they all, like, are buddies. I think I'd be good. Because you've got two options, though. Like, you can either be a buddy, which, for the socially awkward like us, like, not, you're a very outgoing person. You're a sociable person. You don't have that. But for the more awkward type, it's not nice for us because we don't like it.
It sounds nice on the surface, but when you dig in deeper for like someone, if I'm in the wrong mood, I'm going to be entertaining none of it.
Nah.
Like that group chat's going to be on mute.
Yeah, but then you also feel you're in that balance, Johnny, where you sat on the couch on a night praying for nobody to talk to you. Please don't let them come around and invite me to the mulled wine trying, please, because I don't want to go.
It was a Christmas turn on, you know what I mean?
But I don't want to go, but I also know that if I don't go, I'm going to feel a certain way as well.
People are going to think I'm a dickhead for not going, yeah.
So it's
like the summer barbecue and you've got to go around and pick something up off the buffet and there's snot-nosed kids running around picking up chicken wings and you're like, oh, God, I've got to eat something off this.
Let me give you the opposite side of it then. So Phyllis, my next door neighbour, mentioned her a couple of times.
Phyllis.
She is like a nanny to me. She has been. She's been there since day dot. She's been there my whole life. Amazing woman. And her fella is now unfortunately got dementia. He's in a home. But for her 80th, like almost everyone in the street came together around our house, back garden. It was sunny. I was actually in Manchester and I couldn't come back. I had COVID, so it was illegal for me to move. Anyway, like when you get to that age of like 70, 75, and you're not just relying on your family to provide excitement or some enjoyment or because getting to see your parents, you've got lives to live. Like it's tough, it's busy. You want to fit them in as much as possible, but you don't always have the luxury of doing that. So Phyllis now has a whole social group and a whole socialite of other people of her age in the street who have not much, and she'll go for a cup of tea round theirs. And it's like, you've got the two opposite paradoxes. So when you get to 70, do you want to be sat in your house on your own, or do you want the option to go to Kev's over the road and have a glass of whiskey with him?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
or you can have friends. Like,
of course you can have.
That's how friends work.
Of course you can have friends, but like, how accessible are them friends? You have to plan something. You have to, like, with neighbours, it's a case of, oh, are you free? What are you doing? And like, never anything. I'm 70, of course. Come round. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been waiting all week for you to come round.
Yeah. I've been waiting for this text. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the two opposites that I want you guys to consider for the future.
You're 100% right.
Neighbours can be a win. There you go. There's my.
You're right, but I'm just not that good of a person, mate. I'm just not.
There's my piece.
You know
we can't all be saints.
You know what? Through life, I hope we're all on a journey, right? We're all on a journey, and I hope wholeheartedly to one day be okay with that, and I do. Yeah, I say that's probably nice.
I'd need like 3 ghosts at least to visit me to turn into that person.
3 lifetimes.
Yeah.
But no, look, it's lovely, isn't it? It is lovely, and big up Phyllis. I'm sure she's an avid watcher of the podcast. And if you are, Phyllis, I'm sincerely sorry for the other 70-odd episodes and the things we've said. It's just for entertainment purposes. That's that. Listen, I want to be rolling Southpaw.
About 104, 105.
What you saying? Got out else? I'm done.
No, it was nice. It was good, yeah.
Good
catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah? We've got a 104.
We've got a 104, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of things. You can tell me a story if you want.
I'm pretty content. I think.
Should I ask you? Do you want a question? I thought of this on the car on the way here.
All right.
So like, I had an incident while I was driving the other day, right? Because I'm not the best driver, but I was behind a really slow moving lorry, and I overtook it, and I maybe shouldn't have overtook it there, and there was a fucking close call with an oncoming vehicle, and I was like, holy fuck! I either could have died or I could have killed somebody there. I'm gonna be fucking careful. If I killed somebody, Dan, would you help me get rid of the body?
100%.
Like if I rang you and I was like, Dan, mate, look, this thing's happened.
100%, Jonny.
He's saying 100%. What the fuck?
Because I was racking my brain, like after the incident, like I wasn't thinking about like this would be a topic for the podcast. I was thinking out of everybody that I know who I could ring in this situation, I feel like you'd be my guy.
No fucking damn right. You
don't
right,
you
Jonny?
think? Like,
man.
If somebody was going to help us do it and do it properly, this man right here.
I'm not going to leave a man behind. 100%. Yeah. Listen, it works 2 ways. This right. They say you should always have somebody, or you know you've got a real friend. If you know you could ring them at 3 a.m. and you say, "Listen, we're going to kill this person," and they say, they say, "I'll get the shovel." That's how you know you got a good friend.
Yeah.
And you know what the way I see that is from the outside looking in, you'd be like, "Why would you do that?" If in his entire life, right? Maybe me and Jonny, maybe there's more stuff going on here that I'm aware of. Like, if Jonny, in that situation, a life-changing, possibly life-ending situation has happened, if he chose to ring me, I mean, I might ask how many other people you rang first. Like, if I'm 9th, you can get fucked. Do you know what I mean?
No, honestly, I was thinking you were, like, easy 1 or 2, like, up there. Like,
if I'm in 1 or 2, Mish could be first, or his brother. If I'm within the top 2...
The thing with them is they would say, "Oh, mate, you're just going to have to hand yourself in."
No,
they'd be like, "You won't get away with that," but you have the level of irresponsibility that I would need in that situation. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Yeah. I respect it, I love it, and that's what I need in that situation.
Yeah, just give me some skin, mate. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you, mate.
You need a murderer.
Yeah. I haven't done the killing. I'm not the murderer. I mean, I'm just helping. But if this is the way I see it, if somebody has called upon you, and again, you're not the 9th person in the queue. They have thought, shit, I need help. And they've chose to ring you, then yeah, absolutely. Like, I want to help you, like 100%.
Like, even though, like, deep down, you know that if you rang me and you kill somebody, I'd probably be the guy who'd be like, "Mate, you need to hand yourself in." And I know where I would stand on that.
Irony of it all.
But if I was in the situation myself and I needed somebody to help us get rid of it, and I was like adamant that like we either hide the body and get away with it, or I'm going to jail for the rest of my life, like I'm gonna probably try and hide the body.
Yeah,
maybe. Probably. Listen, I'll hand myself in. I'm a good guy, really.
The way I see it is right? The worst case scenario is if it
hypothetically, obviously.
Hypothetically, if it all come out, like,
of course,
if it all come out, I'm not going to be uber punished. You know what I mean? I'm going to be a bit punished. You know, I might do a bit of time, but like, I can change his life. I can help save his life. And like, I'll take that gamble.
You know what the saving grace is for me of it all? I think Jonny in prison, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Dan, he'd be all right for a couple of
I
years.
dropped the
like,
soap on purpose.
Yeah.
Man. I fucking love the time of my life.
Yeah, Johnny's just like,
Gosh, just
your
2 weeks in, just you know.
Yeah,
like
man.
Jonny would be like, your pocket looks nice. Can I hold
You'd
it?
see me. I'd be wearing a mop for hair after like a week. Just
Yeah, buddy.
like Jonny, nobody touched you. Who cares, man? I'm here for it.
You know what I mean? So
One in a row.
actually, you need Dan a lot there. Yeah, space.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Oh, God.
Class.
Nah, mate. Johnny, mate, listen, you ever in that situation, I got you, bro.
Thanks,
You
man.
give me a ring. You,
I
you
love
just
it. I fucking love
drop
it.
me the postcode, mate. I'll be there, mate. Don't worry.
That's what I
I got
want.
you, brother. Yeah, well, listen. Thank you. I appreciate it, mate.
No worries.
I'm taking the nice side of it. I'm not like, I know the comment was, I know somebody that irresponsible. I'm not listening to that. I'm just looking at it as, nah, man, like, he's my guy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's the guy. When I'm in turmoil, when like, oh my God, like, oh fuck, what's going on? I turn to Dan.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
see.
what-
You're a guy who would get it done and get it done like
Yeah,
properly.
Yeah.
you know
Mate,
what I mean?
we fucking
He
had
has
that.
answers to the questions, just ready to go. Like,
Mate,
Dan,
listen, I'm
have
in them
you got latex
situations.
gloves?
like I'm
I'm good in them situations.
already in the boot of the car. You know.
Yeah, let's go. Listen, I've got a great place, mate. I know. Don't worry, I got
fucking
you.
great.
We'll get you. Listen,
hell.
we'll be home in time for breakfast. No one will know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll be sat at
Like the wolf from Pulp Fiction just comes in, just has it all
the
down.
wolf from Pulp
There
Fiction.
you go, yeah.
Exactly
That's
that.
the compliment you were looking for. isn't
Thank
it?
you, brother. Thank you. Yes.
Sending the wolf.
Yeah, mate.
Dan's
Insane. Love it.
Well, listen, on that note, yeah, if any dead bodies go missing, you ain't watched this, right?
Yeah,
On that note, ladies and gentlemen,
it's been fun.
it's been
a
fun.
good
That's been People Like Us. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you soon.